Hi, this is Shimelle with this week's Sketch to Scrapbook page, and as it's wedding week at Shimelle.com, I just wanted to incorporate that in this week's sketch. So it doesn't have to be a wedding layout, but I wanted to include a sketch that took just one single photo and didn't need any special treatment, just one single 4x6 photo, and gave it a bit of a special treatment on the layout by keeping most of the embellishment to one area of the page and still allowing plenty of room for journaling. So this is my rough sketch for where I'm starting with the photo. Two pattern papers, one that's going to be the whole 12x12 sheet, and then one cut to a smaller box. And then this cluster of embellishments is going to be right below the photo. And these dots represent a bit of paint splatter that's going to go across the center of the page to create some movement. Now, what I've pulled out to use is I have a single 4x6 photo, and then I'm going to use this new paper from the Floral Lane collection from Pebbles, and I just wanted to show you the texture, if you can see. The whole collection, the Floral Lane collection, is a pattern paper line on a really lovely textured cardstock rather than a smooth pattern. And sometimes textured cardstocks, the colors don't come out very clear, but the colors on this are really bright and bold. It's on a very clean white cardstock. So I just thought I'd show you that before I trim the bottom off. So I'm going to use this side and just take the branding strip off, and that's going to be the background of my page. And then for the smaller box, I'm going to use this, which is not quite a whole sheet. This is from the Girls Papery collection, and I'm going to use this ledger that's pink and blue, and this will mix the kind of cream colored with the white background, but I'll just go around the edges of this piece and make that work to bring those two together, because that kind of brings together all the colors in the photograph. And then actually the embellishment in this layout is all coming from one sticker. I wanted to use this sticker with the two silhouettes, and even though green wasn't really part of the wedding colors, there is a lot of green in the photo, so I think it will work for this particular page. So I'm going to start with this sketch, and you're welcome to follow along and see how it all comes together. I started by cutting the ledger paper to about 8 by 10. I think it might be just a little bit narrower than 8. And I added a gray cardstock mat and just attached that to the center of the 12 by 12 square. And then to create this bit of paint that's going to go across the page, I'm going to use two things. I'm going to use some plain old gray spray paint, and then I'm going to add some drips with the gray tintype sprinklers from October Afternoon. So with the spray paint, I'm just going to spray straight on and then go out to the edges. And that's pretty much it. And then to give it a bit more depth to the big sprinkles, I go back and add in some bigger dots with the sprinklers. You can, of course, just use the sprinklers for everything and use it as a mist through the spray cap. I just happen to have that gray spray paint on hand, so I thought I would use that instead. Now, this is going to look like quite a lot of paint here in the middle of the page, but a lot of that is going to get covered up with embellishment, so not to worry too much. So just let that dry, and then when that's ready to go, I'll add everything else on top. There is enough of this ledger paper left with the pink pattern on the background to use that as the photo mat. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach the photo to that paper. Saves me trying to find anything else that would be a suitable match. I know those pinks will line up between the floral and the ledger. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of black ink to the edges there since I used the gray spray. Not very, I want this to come off as a bit more like gray than black, but it is the black soot distress ink. And I'll go ahead and attach that And the ledger paper makes it really easy to get everything nice and lined because you can just follow the lines of the pattern. And now I want to create this little cluster of embellishments here at the bottom. And that's where this sticker is going to come into play. I want to be able to use that a bit more like a die cut, so I'm going to go ahead and put that straight onto a bit of cardstock and just trim it so that you can't see any of the cardstock border. So it doesn't even really matter what color. I've got that gray left over, so I'm just going to put that on the gray and cut around. And that will make this easier to place and be able to move it around rather than trying to figure it out while it's still a sticker. Okay, so then I want to find some other little pieces to layer up here. So I'm just going to look through my stash for different stickers, die cuts, different pieces that would be this sort of size. So I'm looking for things that are really not much, not as wide as 4 inches and maybe up to about 2 inches deep. So I'm just looking at things that could fit in that space. So I came up with a few different things. I've got this blue scalloped card, I've got a blue doily, this blue, pink die cut that's from an older Amy Butler set, this little die cut that says "Oh Happy Day," a gray chevron printed heart, and a key with a little heart shape, and then that original sticker. So what I'm going to do is layer quite a bit up, but some of these things not all of them are going to show. So like this doily, I'm only going to show a little bit at the bottom of the photo, so I'm going to trim most of it off so that I can use that somewhere else, probably just on another layout. And I'll add a little bit of ink to the edge of that. And then I'll just start layering bits and pieces here. I think I wanted the pink to go underneath. This is why I use this kind of adhesive, so that I can just pull things up off the page, because I quite often put them in the wrong place. So do that one first, and then this one. And I don't want them to be all perfectly straight. I want them kind of haphazard. But I don't want any odd pieces hanging off this side. So, right. So those are the largest pieces. And then I'm thinking the key just happens to be the same width as that mat. So I'm going to put the heart here and then run the key so that the hearts overlap and the stem of the key goes across that photo mat. And then I'll put this on Pop Dots in the center of everything. So just add that heart. And the key. And I'm going to put this piece down here, I believe. Yeah. Just on its own. And this one I will try to straighten and center a bit. Just following the lines on the pattern paper. And then before I add this final piece, what I want to do, if I can get that piece there. Okay. What I want to do is add some just some random stitching to this so that there's a bit of thread and texture in there. So I'm going to take that to the sewing machine before I add this final piece on top. Here's the finished page with the stitching, and I've just left all the loose ends hanging because I wanted the stitching to look quite messy, and then the sticker on Pop Dots just to bring that whole little cluster together. And the only other thing I did to finish it off was to add a little bit of just plain pearl glimmer mist to the sides and to this embellishment, just covered up the photo and sprayed around so that when you see this in the album, it's very, very sparkly. And it's still a little bit wet, so it's a bit warped at the moment, but once it's in the page protector, it will be nice and flat and no problems at all. So this is a sketch this week for a bit of a special treatment for a single photo, and obviously the higher up you put the photo and the fewer embellishments you use, the more space you have at the bottom for journaling. So I will leave all this journaling space in the sketch because you can certainly journal a lot more than I did on this particular page. And thanks for watching this week, and if you have any questions, come see us at Shimelle.com.